Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cranky Pundit podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morgan, the Cranky Pundit, live on YouTube. Well, I'm not live, I'm just on YouTube in what can only be described as my ex-boyfriend's hoodie. This is so overlarge, this hoodie, and is there initials on it? EOR is not my initials anyway, and I don't know a person who is. But look, yeah, I get it. I get why girls are always robbing hoodies. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's lovely. It's comfortable. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood for it. Okay, so today's podcast, guys, is just about the GAA in Ireland. It's not a slate in the GAA. It's like basically the GAA versus soccer in this country. I often get slated in the comment section since I started the podcast on Instagram or TikTok. Anytime I say soccer, people are like, oh, for God's sake, it's called football. No one calls it soccer. I think that's probably English people commenting, maybe American people. Oh no, American people do call it soccer. But really, the only reason we call it soccer is because we have our own football and we have our own sports here in Ireland. Soccer is maybe probably around the fourth or fifth, maybe even sixth most popular sport in Ireland. We have the GAA, which consists of two sports, maybe more, but two sports. Mainly it's Gaelic football and hurling. Now, if you're someone listening from overseas, which I know we've a few listeners from America and stuff like that, Australia, one person from Morocco, I think that's the one I kept from doing the African Cup of Nations last year. The only person I kept from that series still listens to this podcast, and I thank you. But yeah, so if you're not from Ireland, and I know the majority of people are that listen to the podcast, so I'll go over vaguely what our sports are. So obviously Gaelic football, you should watch it, you should YouTube it, and hurling, probably even better to watch. Something I was terrible at. I wouldn't throw anything around a woman, even to this day. That's how badly I throw. Like if I'm on a date with with girls, with one girl, believe me, and I wouldn't do anything like skim stones next to a river or anything like that. You know, I don't have the upper body for it. It looks feeble and not attractive. You wouldn't want to see someone you want to mate with use this throw, so that's why I don't throw around the other sex. And yeah, it's an amazing sport to watch, but you need upper body fitness, dedication, and everybody in Ireland, man, woman, child, has played or been in training for hurling or a football match. I read somewhere in Kenya, in order to become a man or to become an adult, you must kill a lion. That's what you must do in some tribes in Africa. You have to go out and kill a lion. So in Ireland, what you got to do, instead of killing a lion, you have to go out and play a game of hurling against a guy who's 5 years older than you in an under-12 league. He's 15. Oh, that's the other thing about GAA as well. They say there's age limits, but you could be marking a fella and he has two kids on the sideline and it's an under-15 game. Like, you know, it's common. Like, it's a joke in Ireland, like, that, oh, his kids are on the sideline. Like, that all stems from, they're people miles over age playing this sport. That's the only bad thing I'd say about it. So we've hurling, football, handball. Now, I don't know much about handball, but it's a popular sport in Ireland, and it seems anybody that plays it automatically gets into the World Championship final. Everybody I meet that plays handball, they're like, oh my, yeah, I played at the World Championships. I've a world title. Like, there's like 5 guys from my town that have World Championships. So I don't know, is the pool that much? Do you know, but like, it is a popular sport in Ireland. If you drive through the countryside, you'll see a lot of handball alleys, old school handball alleys that are like 150 years old. There's one right by my house there in Hazelwood that's actually cut down because the council, it was blocking the sun to someone's back lawn. But yeah, it was one. We've handball and rugby, which we completely punch above our weight at as well. Ireland are favourites nearly for the World Cup, I believe, this year. That's happening. Like, I'd love to be a fan of these sports. I can sit down, I can watch a Gaelic football match, I can watch a hurling match, I'll watch Ireland if they're in the World Cup or something. I can appreciate the sports, but look, they're just not my cup of tea. But this is the intro to maybe why you're thinking, why is Ireland not as advanced as other countries in soccer? Because we have many sports that are pulling away. Like, we also have Conor McGregor in the fighting. We've always had a boxer up there. We always have boxers on the podium in the gold medals in the Olympics and stuff like that. So Ireland as a nation in sport really punch above our weight. But I often, even myself, when I'm going on about our poor national team's performances at the moment, I'm always like, look at Croatia. Croatia have 4 million people. Yeah, but Croatia don't have other sports sports, that many other sports. I think they're into basketball, but they don't have that many other sports to distract them and take all our best players. Like, I'll be honest, some of the best athletes that I went to my school or friends that I had, some of the best athletes I know are GAA players. Like, the dedication they put towards their sport. You'll always see the soccer guys smoking fags out the night before a game. You'll never see a GA person, really. When the championship is on, they dedicate themselves. They really, really do it. Like, so if you're not familiar, that's just the intro. But if you're not familiar with our sports, I urge you, I implore you to go check them out on YouTube after you finish liking, subscribing, comment to all of my stuff, obviously. But go watch it. It's something amazing, something beautiful. It's something I'm not great at. Of course, I've played hurling, I've played Gaelic football, just wasn't great at it. My dad is American as well, like, so he wasn't like, you know, I suppose putting GA into me. A lot of people have fathers that are like, you only play soccer, or you only play football, and you only play hurling. Don't mind the foreign games. That's a lot. Thing that used to be said back in the day. Foreign games. That's what they called it. If you didn't play GAA, if you played soccer or basketball, that was a foreign game, and it was shunned upon. In fact, if you were caught playing soccer, you were banned from GAA for 7 years or something like that. That used to be a rule, that if you were caught playing soccer, you would be banned from the GAA. So that's how much it was. Soccer was shunned upon in this country. But like that, every man, woman, and child, my mother, my father, even though he's American, came back immediately. I'd say his second game back, played a schools game in Gaelic football. But like I was saying, when I was kicking around the back garden, my father wasn't telling me, oh, you have to play hurling. He was literally like, oh, let me be Michael Owen, like, just put me in, let me be Michael Owen. There was no pressure to play GA, so that's why I love soccer, as we call it in this country. Football, as you call it everywhere else, but I call it soccer out of respect for my own sport. Not just because I'm not good at them doesn't mean I don't respect them. Just because I don't follow it intensely doesn't mean I don't respect it, okay? So now we can move on with the podcast, really, and the nits and grits of the GA in this country. Now, the first thing I will say, the GA, nobody gets paid. So even though coaches get paid, selectors get paid, there's people on the boards that get paid. Like, there's a number. The GAA in this country, which is hurling and football, generate so much money, enough for a very small nation. Enough for some nations in Africa, they generate that amount of money every year. And nobody gets paid, supposedly. Nobody gets paid. They say that they reimburse it back into society. And what I will say is every GAA pitch, every GAA clubhouse around the country, every village has one, is state of the art. Like, when me and Psychic Dan go for a kick around, we go to a GAA pitch. That's where we go for a kick around, like, because it's like a carpet, you know? It's a carpet. I don't know who's cutting it, but they're cutting it every fucking day, you know? It's like Anfield, honestly. And that's the case for every GA field in this country. It's absolutely state of the art. So they say that in the last few years, each year, the GA gives out grants of 24 million back into the grassroots of this in this country, and that's why the sport thrives. I went to watch a ladies' football match last Wednesday up in Ballincollig, and me and my girlfriend hopped out the car and we to find the soccer pitch. The soccer pitch was behind 50 GAA pitches that were filled with kids. There must have been, I'm not joking, like 1,000 kids. There was 1,000 kids amongst these GAA pitches. And in the very back, in the worst bit of grass, there was a ladies' soccer game with no one at it and no one watching it. So, like, that really sums it up, you know. And that's something, I won't say I'm jealous of the GA, but that's something I was always noticed of when I was growing up. It was like, we were playing in pitches that you had to get the glass off. You know, before the game, fellas were cracking bottles off the grass the night before, and us under 11s then had to get the bottles off the pitch. I remember going watching my uncle playing Ballyclaw, and there was like cows and sheep on the pitch that they had to get off the pitch. Like, there was cow shit and sheep shit everywhere. But then only 100 yards over the road, there'd be two unbelievable GAA pitches with gyms, with dressing rooms, with astroturfs, and so they run it right. And I don't say they don't put all the money back in. Of course they put. I'm not saying they don't put any money back in. They definitely put the money back in. But I think it's starting, in my lifetime, it's starting to fade out a small bit with interest between young people. even in the county games now, if Cork are playing Dublin, I would say the average age of the teams are 24. Where when I was like when my dad took me to GAA matches, let's say, because I've never really gone to one as an adult as much, but the average age was 31, 32. Seasoned athletes. And the reason that is because they don't get paid. What they do get, they get nice jobs. If you're a popular player, no. If you're number 17 and you're never on the camera and no one knows you, you're not getting a great job. But if you're like the main guy, you'll get a good job in an insurance company, a bank, or as a sales rep for a big company like Heineken or Murphy's or something like that. You'll get a nice cushy job. You'll get a car that you don't own. You just drive it. As long as you're a household name, you can drive that. And you are a king and a hero or queen amongst your county. And it's the honour. I often go on about loyalty on this podcast. Even on the Saudi Arabian podcast, I was like, is there loyalty anymore? Even for the past couple of years, there's no loyalty. But what I will say is GA is nothing but loyalty. People for their you can't even make a transfer. I'm not a professional footballer. I've played for 7 different soccer clubs. You can't do that in the GA either. You have to wait 7 years for a transfer or something like that. Something like so. It's very it's about your community. It's about your parish. I get it. I would be an advocate of them getting paid at least the dole, at least the social welfare on top of their wages. We're very quick to give social welfare to absolutely anybody that's coming into this country. And then there's fellas that are sacrificing. They have their kids at home. They're leaving work early. Their wife is fighting with them because they're gone 7 nights a week training and getting their body in shape for something they never get paid for. Just the pride of the community. And to be honest, that never appealed to me either. Like, you know, I suppose whatever sport you want to get into, you want to see the kings and queens driving away in the most expensive cars and all that. But there's something pure about the GA, to be fair, that your local hero can just walk past you in Tesco and you can just go, great game the last day, and he drives away in the same type of car you do. You know, and there's none of that. So that it's absolutely amazing. To be honest, the more I research this, because this was going to be a podcast about how shitty the GA is, how that it's a conspiracy, that it's like a joke. That's probably the attitude I've had my whole life. But the most I looked into this and done the research, what a sport. I don't think any other country, let me know the guy from Morocco that's listening to this podcast, is there sports out there that rival the GA that maybe we don't know about in your country? I know Aussie Rules is very popular. I know there's lots of sports, individual sports but I don't know. But you get paid for Aussie Rules. Do you know? In Ireland, some fellas leave the GAA to go play Aussie Rules to get paid. So like, it is amazing. But the only thing I will say is, and I know for a fact, and no one can ever answer me honestly, where does all the money go? Because I know for a fact all the money doesn't go back in. All the money doesn't go back in. I'm usually met with answers like, it goes back in. Sure, don't you look at the pitches? Look at the pitches, look at the facilities. Sure, it goes straight back in. I know, yeah, but you've had the same facilities now. They are immaculate, but they've been immaculate for the last 20 years. We're generating that money every year. We're generating a stupid amount of money every year. So just for the outsiders looking in, and in fact, Irish people, you should listen to this because I didn't know all of this before the start. So in Ireland, there is 50 stadiums that are registered with the GA. Stadiums. Not parks, stadiums. Like have stands and seats and everything like that, right? So we'll start off, okay? So these are the top there's 19 stadiums in Ireland, GAA stadiums in Ireland. 15 GAA stadiums in Ireland with a capacity of between, sorry, no, guys, I have to get this properly. No, 20,000. 20,000 plus. So there's 15 stadiums in Ireland that have a capacity of 20,000 plus. They are, Croke Park has 82,300. Okay, Semple Stadium in Thurles, 46,000. Park Equive in Cork, 45,000. Gaelic Ground in Limerick, 44,000. Fitzgerald Park, or Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney, that's 38,000. Casement Park in Belfast, 35,000. St. Tiernuck's Park in Monaghan, 29,000. Nolan Park in Kilkenny, 27,000. Pierce Stadium in Galway, 26,000. McHale Park in Mayo, 25,000. Burferman Park, never heard of it, in Cavan has 25,000. O'More Park in Portlaoise has 22,000. And Park Elsler in Newry has 20,000, guys. Okay? 20,000. So that's all them stadiums, guys. There's 15 that's Premier League. 15 stadiums in Ireland that have a capacity of 20,000 plus. Some have 80,000. There's loads with 40,000 plus, loads with 30,000 plus. That's literally better than Serie A, La Liga, Ligue 1, the SPL. Better than any other league. That's the caliber. None of the players get paid as well, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Full up, right? There's 18 with a capacity between 20,000 between 10,000 and 20,000, and there's another 19 with a capacity between 1,000 and 10,000. So, guys, we have literally the Premier League, what England have in their league with all their stadiums, we have as well with the GAA. Just as big capacity. We've a Wembley as well. We've the same. Crow Park, 83,000. Absolutely mental. So, if there's only 24 million going back into the game, how much do they raise from ticket sales? Don't worry, I've done the math. I hope I'm right. I used the Bomb-Des rule as well. Brackets, order, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Baby, that's what I did. And what we did. So just even the top ones, okay? So even the top 15 stadiums, right? If they only had one match a year that was full. One match. Each of the top 15 stadiums, okay, only had one match. They have way more, but one match. And if it was on average €50 a ticket. Now, I know for a fact in Crow Park, All-Ireland final day, you'd be very lucky to get a ticket for €50. But I know some semi-finals, some days are quiet. There's quarter-finals, there's backdoors played up there. So let's call it €50 for one game, okay? €50 multiplied by 400, because there's 15 stadiums, and I added up all the stadiums' capacity. That's 464,000 seats in the top 15 stadiums in Ireland. Charge them €50. That's 23.2 million. So just in one game, in only the top 15 stadiums, one sold out game in each stadium gives you the exact amount that you put back in. One game. If you add in the 18 with the capacity between 10,000 and 20,000, that's 270,000 seats. Multiplied by 50, that's 13.5 million. And if you add in the other 19 stadiums with a capacity between 1,000 and 10,000, that's 95,000 seats with 4.7 million. So altogether, every recognised GAA stadium, just the stadium, not the parks, not the under-7 stadiums I get charged to watch my little cousin play a camogie match, okay? None of that. None of the sponsorship from AIB, Super Value, Allianz Insurance, AIB Bank, Lidl, none of that. None of that. If all of those stadiums, top 50 stadiums in Ireland, only sell out one game and do fuck all else for the rest of the year, close the shop, they raise 41.5 million per year. Per year. There's easily 5 sold out games a year. Between the girls and the boys and the club matches and all that kind of stuff, there's easily five sold out games a year. So I'm being nice. Let's multiply it by 2. Right? You've 8. Did I even do that? I didn't do that. So what's 41 point? It's 83 million a year. So even if it's just 2 sold out stadiums, guys, for the top 50, I'm not on about the other 150 that we have that can fit below 1,000 and all that kind of stuff. I'm not on about Mallow, and I'm not on about Churchtown that have lovely seats. I'm not on about anything like that. I'm not on about the minor games, the under 21s. I'm not on about hurling and football. I'm only saying one. Alright, we'll say 2. 1 sold out hurling game, 1 sold out football game is 83 million a year. 83 million a year, you give out 24. There's still 59 million that I don't know where it goes. 59 million per year. And that's me being nice, only saying that there was 2 games played in each stadium all year. I know for a fact there's about 5. So there's still 59 million euros missing. What? And we all just, can someone answer me that? It goes back in. No, I read it. I did the research before this in the podcast. They did an annual all-time last year, an all-time record of putting 24 million back into the grassroots, back into GA clubs. But they raised 83 million. And no one gets paid. The players that fucking are fighting with their wives going out the door. I have to, honey, for the love of Cork, I have to. The son is like, where the fuck is daddy? He's off running in a field with a bunch of boys not getting paid for the pride of Cork. While there's these boys that we don't know about making 59 million every year at a minimum. At a minimum. I could multiply that by another 5 to 10. Easily. Do you know? I know what point I'm trying to make on this podcast. I know, but it's something that's always annoyed me, that they don't just share the love or something like I don't know. I don't know. Just pay the players. I don't even play GA. I don't even know GA players in my town really. I don't really hang out with them. I don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about me. But as a person on the street, I actually wish that they got paid. I wish they did. Do you know, they deserve it. Because then you'd have a higher standard. And then you'd have even better games. Like, and just make it a dole, make it a set fee. Every player, if you get signed up to the 30-man panel for your county, doesn't matter if you're from Laois or Dublin, you get the dole, baby. You get the dole on top of your whatever work commitments you have already. But just to ease the pain and don't make you feel like you're losing out. Because it seems very greedy. It seems like very conspiracy as well. Like, I didn't want to make it all conspiracy, but in Ireland we've been ran by the Catholic Church and the GAA, and they've been very intrinsically linked since their beginnings, do you know? Since the GAA's beginning. Obviously, religion happened far before the GAA, but they've been very entangled with each other throughout Irish history. And one is a money-making scheme, the other is a money-making scheme, in my opinion. Do you know, they like I've been to the Vatican, and they're asking me for money. Could you spare some change for the poor? It's like, sell that painting there, mate, and you'd feed Africa. Do you know? So I don't really know why you're asking me for money. Pass the basket around. Do you know? All that kind of stuff. The GAs like that. Raffles, fundraisers. Guys, I'm not even on about the sponsorships, all the money. And I'm not even answering any questions for you either. Like, who's Mr. GA at the top? Who are the 5 boys? Because there's 59 million at a minimum, because I'm being very generous, that is unaccounted for. Fair play for throwing 24 million back in. I know the soccer could do with it. But where the fuck is that money going? Where is the money going? Where is it gone? No one knows. Please tell me. Yeah. I've not much to say else, guys. Thanks very much for listening to the podcast. If you've any answers or if there's anything I've missed, please let me know. I tried to be fair enough. I tried to be supportive, and as well, just get down to the facts. They're the figures as well, guys. And I tried to not go over the top as well. I tried to be very generous, and I think I did. 2 sold-out games every year between a hurling and a football match. I'm sure most counties do that. Not a bother. Dublin have about 10 between every game. If you add up even the small crowds that come, I'd say 10 full-out stadiums every year. So, and that's 83,000 and €50 a ticket, being very, very generous. So, guys, they put 24 million back into society last year. So, where the fuck else is the money? Where is the money gone? We need to start talking about it. We shouldn't be afraid of the conversation as well. Like, we should talk about it. It's like speaking bad on religion 10 years ago or 20 years ago. It's like you're not allowed to talk about it. Well, let's just talk about it, and we can all get better from it, you know. Thanks very much for listening, guys. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.